unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
Errol Spence believes that Canelo should steer clear of 175, facing guys like Dmitry Bivol in a rematch, or even Artur Beterbiev. Let's talk about what up, Fight World. It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. I want to start with a quote from Errol Spence, and then we will lead into my thoughts. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I am the best in the business. Errol Spence did a recent interview with Elie Seckbach, link in the description. ES News. In this exclusive interview, Errol talked about a litany of things. The part I want to talk about is he says and calls for a fight with David Benavidez, as he believes that particular fight would be a good one. Errol Spence, in this interview, the direct quote, he says, David Benavidez would be a good fight, meaning for Canelo. I think he, being Canelo, he should stay away from Dmitry Bivol-ish. He should stay away from Artur Beterbiev too. Go back to 168 pounds and handle your business. 175 is pushing it, end quote. Now, the timing of this interview with Errol Spence, it's actually ironic because I was gonna make a separate unpacked video about this subject. So now I can combine my thoughts with kind of what Errol Spence had said. He's basically telling you that Canelo should stay his butt at 168 and 175 is a bridge too far. Beating Bivol in a rematch, especially at 175, or Beterbiev, basically the last two champions at light heavyweight, doesn't seem likely. Or it sounds like Errol Spence, you know, I can't put words in his mouth, but based on what he said in that interview, doesn't sound like he's convinced that Canelo will be successful or have success like he has in other weight classes or against other fighters like John Ryder. As for me, I told you guys, this doesn't happen often, so please listen up on my channel. You know I've been on boxing and I've done this at an elite level for many years, and I rarely have to rescind my thoughts or alter or adjust because I continue to feel how I feel in the world of boxing. But there is something that I put out previously that I want to update. And that's initially Canelo and Bivol, that conversation last year when the conversation came up, I was telling people on my channel I wanted to see the fight at 175 pounds, right? Because I thought Canelo, in my thinking at the time, I thought Canelo would try to weasel out of it and bring Dmitry Bivol down to 168. And I don't know what Dmitry Bivol would particularly look like at 168. So to be honest, I thought it was an advantage for Canelo. So I was like, man, he should fight him same terms. However, I've updated my thoughts because Dmitry Bivol, he's done several interviews and I had to start thinking about it a bit more, where he kept saying he doesn't want to fight Canelo at 175 pounds because he's already done it. He says, I already beat him. What's the motivation there? I'm a light heavyweight champion already. I beat him. I beat his countryman, Zurdo Ramirez. You know, I'm not really motivated. And it took me a short moment to process these thoughts. And I was wondering at first, why does he want to fight him at 168? And then it hit me. Boom. You never know. Boom. I fully understand it now. Check it out. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you would have already been privy to this because I kind of put out this theory ahead of me making this video. I said hashtag unpopular opinion. Look, we got 116,000 views. So make sure you follow me on Twitter just on this one tweet. So it's doing its numbers. People have obviously seen it. But for my YouTube crowd who may not follow me on Twitter, I'll give you guys the theory. I said, hashtag unpopular opinion. Canelo wants Dmitry Bivol at 175 pounds because should he lose again, he can just say that 175 pounds is, quote, too much weight. And his fans will say, quote, he dared to be great. A loss at 175, he'd still be undisputed at 168 pounds with all the belts. I truly believe Canelo knows that if he lets Dmitry Bivol come down to his preferred weight, 168, and if he cannot beat him there, then he will have no excuses on why outside of he lost to the better fighter. That's why Bivol is insisting on only taking the fight at 168 pounds to challenge himself. Canelo won't be able to use injuries, hand surgery, weight, etc. if he loses undisputed titles at 168 pounds. That's why Canelo keeps saying that 175 only stuff and is adamant about it. So to recap, basically what I'm saying is Canelo has a built-in excuse if he rematches Bivol at 175 and loses. The way it's looking, the way Canelo has lacked head movement in his recent fights, the way he was getting hit by a smaller John Ryder and a less complete fighter like John Ryder, as opposed to who Errol Spence is saying, guys like Dmitry Bivol and Beterbiev. Like, listen, I'm not even gonna spend too much time because there's no history. Canelo hasn't fought Beterbiev, but y'all know what it is. I've been telling y'all Canelo don't want to see no Beterbiev. And when Canelo fought, if he were to fight Beterbiev and he would get knocked out, then his fans would all of a sudden, you know, play the sympathy card, make some chicken noodle soup for Canelo, some caldo, and, you know, baby him because he got knocked out. I'm telling you, I know what I know about boxing. Errol Spence is pretty much saying the same thing. He didn't say the knockout, but he's basically saying he should stay away from light heavyweight. And if you know, you know. We know what that means. I think Beterbiev would be way too strong. There were people who were arguing with me and saying, oh no, but Beterbiev, he's showing wear and tear and aging. And okay, Artur Beterbiev will wear and tear that ass. I bet you that. Moving on. Now, as far as Bivol, a guy he actually has history with in terms of he fought and wanted to fight at some point, and now he's saying he wants to fight him again, it's the same thing. Like I said in my statement, Canelo wants to fight him at a higher weight class, so win, lose, or draw, he has the built-in excuse of dared to be great. He has the built-in excuse of, you know, this was too much weight for me and it's not my true weight and all that type of stuff. At 168, you are devoid of any type of excuses because you're undisputed. You are the undisputed champion with all the belts. So if you lose there, then Dmitry Bivol had to make the sacrifice. He had to make the sacrifice. He potentially is draining his body or dehydrating his body to cut and make a lower weight class where he's not champion. So the edge in terms of like sacrifice would go to Dmitry Bivol, and Canelo would not get no additional credit for fighting at his current weight class. You would have to give the credit to Dmitry Bivol because he's the one that had to sacrifice and make, you know, just like how people said, oh, Ryan Garcia, he's so big and he had to cut weight for the Gervonta Davis fight. But the only difference is Ryan Garcia is a career lightweight. He spent his time at lightweight. Just because he did 1 or 2 fights at 140, that doesn't make him a 140 pounder. Because guess what? He wasn't fighting Subriel Matias, Regis Prograis, Gary Antoine Russell. He wasn't fighting 140 pounders. He was bringing guys up like Javier Fortuna or Emmanuel Tiptoes. So he's not a 140 pounder. The difference with Bivol is he is a champion and he's a legit light heavyweight. And although he did call Canelo to fight at 168, that was years ago. Years ago, your body changes over time. And now in the here and now in 2023, they'll probably be harder to make the 168. But Bivol's trying to call Canelo's bluff because he don't want no excuses. And he wants to he's just a competitor. So he wants to motivate himself to challenge himself for undisputed titles, which is something he hasn't achieved. So that's just further motivation, as opposed to beating up the guy at 175 and they make excuses, which you already did convincingly when you fought Canelo the first time. Boop. So I no longer want to see Canelo versus Bivol rematch at 175, because you know when Canelo loses, it will be chock full of excuses as to why he lost and dared to be great. The other thing that I do not like about that scenario at 175 is you got hungry people at 168 super middleweight like David Benavidez or David Morrell Jr., and they're chomping at the bit to get the big fights. Benavidez just had his biggest fight and a colossal win over Caleb Plant, and he's looking for the bigger fights. He's been calling out Canelo for a minute. So if Canelo does fight Dmitry Bivol at 175, he holds the belts hostage. Why would I like that? When, again, Benavidez, Morales, and others should be fighting for those belts, but no one can fight for a belt. No one can become a true champion with the one and only belt without Canelo. So I don't like Canelo being undisputed, but then not fighting at the division. It's already bad enough that he's undisputed and he fought John Ryder for all the belts. So out of all the people, Demetrius Andrade's at 168. David Benavidez is at 168. David Morrell Jr. is at 168. Jermall Charlo probably could move up because he's been out the ring for 2 years and make 168, and that would probably be more comfortable. So out of all the people that could have fought for the titles and that were deserving of that, not Andre, not Morrell, not Benavidez, not Charlo, bigger fights as well, John Ryder was the lucky guy that got the opportunity to challenge you for the titles. So you see the games, what type of games being played, how's it going down, that Canelo is playing. And with fighters like Errol Spence saying that 175 is basically too much for Canelo, he shouldn't like make that his focus. He's a fighter and he's telling you this, which is what I've been saying. I don't want to see Canelo Bivol at 175. And I don't want to see Canelo fight out of 168 pounds because he's holding the belts hostage and there's no action or traction while he does that. I know the Canelo lunatics will be, oh, ego, baby, you hating. It's not hating. You're not a fan of boxing. You only like one fighter. You don't know ish about boxing anyway, and you're a fan of one man. That's a man fan. That's why I came up with that word, right? With that phrase. You like one fighter. I like the greater good of boxing, and the greater good of boxing is 1, bigger fights, 2, not have somebody be undisputed, but then no one could get a shot at the belts. And then when someone does get a shot at the belts, it's someone who really doesn't deserve it over the other people that do deserve it, like John Ryder. And, you know, I don't want to hear built-in excuses when Bivol mops up Canelo again. So fight him at 168, especially since Bivol's adamant about it. No one needs to see him repeat and two-peat against Canelo at 175. We watched that, and Bivol dominated. I don't even know if Canelo won any rounds. He might have lost all 12 rounds, won 1 or 2 rounds. It's like Canelo Mayweather. When he loses, Canelo loses big, right? His actual losses with Mayweather and Bivol, you know, because I'm not going to include his supposed losses that a lot of people thought he lost to Triple G or Lotta, but just using his actual losses, he lost big time. Like the Mayweather and Bivol fight, you're getting skunked. You arguably lost all 12 rounds. Stay out of 175, no excuses, fight Bivol at 168. I'm the best in the business. Subscribe to the channel, and I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks, right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready,
with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description, customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.
Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.